All right. Welcome back again, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope this is working better because that is one beast of a little USB adapter. That one was for my CNC computer. And what this guy allows me to do is I used to have a thumb drive. You can see right here. I used to thumb drive files to and from my CNC. And if I ever had a problem with the file, I'd have to pull the thumb drive out, go back inside. Sometimes I would forget to save the file on the thumb drive. That I would save it locally, and caused a bunch of headache. So what I end up doing is I have a NAS drive, network storage, and I have a shared folder that all the computers that attach to my Wi-Fi network can share files from, and the CNC will share files to that drive. So I will make the files in there. And if I need to modify them, I can modify them out here, or I can modify them at my desktop. Either way, it works out for me. USB thumb drives are almost a thing of the past. But in order to do it, I need a beefy USB driver for the Wi-Fi. So that's why I had that crazy Wi-Fi system there. I'll give it just a couple minutes for these other guys to get back on. I know I said 5 minutes. I think I was going pretty fast there. What an absolute pain. But that's the problem when you're in a garage like this and we got solid walls. I've got all this LED lighting, and all these LED drivers and everything. They just interrupt signal out here. It is what it is. But I told you guys I was going to get better lighting, and I did. I installed a new bank right over my work surface, and I can't believe I didn't do this before. Because if I'm working on something, I really want to be able to see it, and I think I was just compensating last time. But I don't know if you guys can see, but I put LED lights like all around my garage. All right. I'll give these guys just a couple more minutes because I want to get into the meat and taters of this. I am so excited for this guy right here. I had to special order this, and it came across the country because I want to do an unboxing for you guys. Actually, I wasn't even planning on doing another one of these live videos for a while, but I'll tell you, it just happened. I seen this on the market. I bought it instantly. And I got a bunch of Q&A requests from people. They wanted to have me answer a bunch of questions. So I was like, okay, let's do it live. Matthew, you're wondering how I keep warm in the garage during winter. Let me tell you something. There's a very, very important part to having tools in a garage, and that's climate control. It's not just for the cold. It's also for the warm and the humidity, because this is Houston. And we have a problem with humidity, and humidity destroys tools. It also warps wood. So I have, man, I've got all sorts of different woods here. Some of them are rather expensive, and you don't want humidity to get into the wood because it'll warp it. And you know, you got to keep everything as dry as possible, and that includes your tools. So how did I do it? Right there, guys. This is a mini split air conditioning system. The base unit is outside on the ground, or on a pallet more so. But a mini split, I could do a whole nother video on mini splits because it's something that you yourself can do to your own garage. You can install this in just a couple hours. and they're not that expensive. I got this one for like what, $600-700. This mini split here is a SEER 21, and a 21 SEER unit is actually very, very energy efficient. And home air conditioning heating units, to get a 21 SEER, you're talking a very expensive unit. But here, I bought this off Craigslist. Man, I wish you guys knew. I buy so much stuff off Craigslist, it ain't even funny. And I got this guy brand new off Craigslist. Gentleman drove up in my driveway, unloaded it, drove away. Happy as can be. Oh, let's see. Let's see if I can answer some of these other questions. Oh, thank you, Angela. I appreciate that, man. I can get a lot more information out on a live video instantaneously, because sometimes you guys need clarification, and it's just cumbersome to write back and forth. I like to do a live video, and I wish I wasn't working for this particular hospital, because then I could do better live streams, you know, before work or after work. This particular hospital is extremely strict on me recording anything during the day at all in any of their facilities. These guys are so strict that any single day I am expecting to lose my job. Any day. Somebody's going to tattle on me about one of my videos, and I'm going to end up packing the rest of my stuff and coming home. For a fact. I know that. I already know that. But one of the good things about being an experienced biomed is that there's no shortage of jobs. Okay, so that's why I'm not exactly worried. I would prefer not to lose my job, but they've already taken a lot from me. They took my team away, and they took the operating rooms away from me because I disagreed with them on a patient safety issue. And so they took my team away from me. Although we still stay in touch and everything, and they're still an awesome group of guys, I'm not doing what I was paid to come here for. You know, I'm doing laboratories. I'll do whatever they want me to do, but just saying, it's not like, you know, I'm tied down to any particular place. So that's why I do videos. Like a couple days ago, I did a video about a water system, and I was actually in the room, and I was working on some other stuff, and I turned around, and I actually was looking at the water system, and I was analyzing the process. And that's why I wanted to make the video, because there's other people that should know the process too. That's because that was a DI system, and some systems for laboratories are reverse osmosis. I'm going to do a video on that guy soon. RO systems are very cool. Very cool. But when I can find a good system in the video, then I'll do that video for you guys. But oh, let's see. What else can I do for you? Riley, what are the calibration results, and why do you need a sticker for it? You mentioned it in one of my videos. Calibration results. That's interesting. So, as you guys probably are aware, when we check out a piece of equipment, it's got a sticker on it. And we sticker it because all medical devices have to be checked at least once per year. And some of those rules have changed, but for the most part, we'd like to say once per year, every device has to be touched. The sticker is an easy way of proving that you have had your hands on it and you've touched that medical device once per year. So it's not required to have stickers, but then you have to have proof. Like that means your records on your computer database have to be very accurate. And there's a lot of minutia there, like centrifuges. Some hospitals will write your calibration data, like your RPMs of the centrifuge, on a sticker on the outside of the device. And for me, I don't understand that. I never understood it, because every single device, when you shut it off and you turn it back on, you're going to get different results. The temperature of the air in the room is going to change your results for everything. So I never agreed with that. I'm the type of guy who will document everything in the work order, and I will document very little on the machine itself. Just a PM due sticker. So it'll be a little sticker that says when the PM was done, my initials, and then when the PM is due. The end. That's it. Now, my work order was have a lot of notes. I put a lot of notes in my work orders. And, you know, that's basically what it is. When you get inspected, they're going to walk in and they're going to say, see this device right here? I want to see its entire service history. So you say, okay, you take its number, you go to the database, and you print the entire history on that device. And that's what they do, is they'll walk through and they see a device and they're going to be like, okay, I want to see the information on this device. It's got an expired sticker. And see, I have this long-standing thought process. That's when it comes to being inspected, you always try and get rid of the predictable stuff, because the unpredictable stuff is still going to happen. So things like expired stickers, often hospitals use a different colored sticker every single year. So like this year, it might be baby blue. All the PM stickers will be baby blue. The year before that, they might be red. The year before that, they might be orange. Okay, get the drift? So if I walk through and I see an orange sticker on a device, I go up and I read it and it's 2 years out of date. Okay, now I know orange stickers are 2 years ago. So I'm going to keep my eyes open and I'm going to start looking for orange stickers, because that's what inspectors do. They notice a color for an expired sticker and then they start digging. So what we try to do as biomeds is we try to prevent them from digging. We get rid of the stuff that's predictable. Like if you see a device that's out of date, you know, just sitting on the side of the room or something, you do it. Get it taken care of. Get that guy out. Because the inspector is going to see that device and then they're going to start digging. And we just want to get rid of the predictable stuff, because the unpredictable stuff is still going to happen. And unpredictable stuff is going to be like this ECG came out of a closet. True story. So an EKG cart will come out of a closet the week of inspections because they need extra equipment or something like that. And it's got a sticker that's 3 or 4 years old. I've seen it. But that's stuff that, you know, it's unpredictable. I didn't know it was in a closet. You know, we couldn't find it. We removed it from service, and here it is. It happens. So that's the unpredictable stuff. Let's see, what else can I do for you guys? You know something? I'll tell you what. I'm gonna let you guys write your questions and stuff, because I'm gonna ramble a little bit too much. I want to show you guys the best part about this video. I've been waiting for probably over a month for this guy back here in the red box, because it's the new part of this kit right here. And I haven't even opened it yet. So let's get into it. And I'm anxious to see if this is all the hype. Okay. This is the Milwaukee M18 Fuel vacuum cleaner. What? It's for the pack out system, which makes it extremely cool, because that means that it is meant to interlock with this system. It's designed within certain parameters so that it will fit on there with the other boxes, like my tool bag. I'm hoping I get the vacuum and my tool bag next to each other. So let's take a look. I've been waiting all day. This came earlier today. I've been so anxious to open this guy up. What comes in the box? Ooh, this is a fancy little vacuum. Better be. Oh my gosh. All right. What do we got? Instructions. Look at this. First off, I got to give them mad props on that. Take a look at this handle. It's a rounded handle. It's not square. It's actually very comfortable. I don't know why I'm that surprised, because they like putting rounded handles on their things, and man, that makes it just so easy to carry. Look at this. Whereas, let's take a look at its competitor, the vacuum that I currently use. Look at this guy. They tried doing tool storage in the handle. So the handle is actually kind of a large diameter. See how it's got that large flat on the top? And you see the handle is right here next to the power switch. You would think that they designed that and that's a good idea. But if you can see, I don't know if you can see it, my hand is actually very close to that power switch. Well, I guess maybe you could use it to turn it on and off while you're carrying it, but I don't know. That's, to me, I've actually turned this guy on accident several times. I mean, this has been a good vacuum. This is the one I use here in my shop. But this is exactly the same vacuum that I use at work until now. But you can see the problem. The problem is it doesn't want to stay on my cart very well. So that's why I've gotten all these tie downs and different straps and whatnot. But this guy just changes the game. First off, let me show you guys something very cool. I've seen videos on this. Even though I've never seen this device before, I've seen videos so I know what to expect. I'll tell you what, this is such a huge plus. You guys, remember when I said it's got onboard tool storage? Look right here. And right here. Both my tools are missing. Now, I'm pretty careful with my tools, all right? I've got kids, and that's probably why my tools are missing. But let me tell you something. This has onboard tool storage. How cool is that? I can close the lid. I can stack something else on top of it, and the tools are safe inside. So we got the edging tool. I've got an adapter. That's kind of cool. All right. And this is a wet dry vac, so you're going to use this for like squeegeeing water and whatnot. So since I'm the type of guy that likes a place for everything, I mean, all my tools, they all have a place. That's one of my biggest pet peeves about that DeWalt vacuum is that the pieces would just fall off sometimes. Let's say I set it down and somebody bumps it. Well, there a piece just goes rolling across the floor because somebody was, you know, a little unnecessarily rude. But this guy, oh my God. Guys, I'm so excited. Let's take a look. So I do believe that this vacuum was probably around $200, I think. So it isn't the cheapest vacuum in the world. And this guy does not have a plug-in cord, unlike the DeWalt. Nope, it definitely does not. So it lives off of these M18 batteries, and these guys are not cheap. They're not cheap. I think the 2 batteries and a charger was like close to $300. So all in all, I do have about $500 tied up into this guy. But is it worth it? Absolutely. It is worth it because this guy will just snap onto my kit and I don't have to worry about it falling off. I don't have to worry about straps. And one of the other pluses from all the videos, all the other videos that I've watched, this vacuum has been much, much quieter than any of the other portable vacuums. It's got 2 speeds. That's the first speed. That's the second speed. Okay. Well, let's see. I'll have both these vacuums next to each other. Let's see if you guys can figure out which one's louder. That's its highest speed. I would say it's almost half the volume. Look, I can actually talk to you at a reasonable level It's got very cool tool storage. The hose slaps on the side. Just like the DeWalt, you can take the hose and slap it on this side, and this will be for blowing stuff out. We do use that often if you can't get around with a brush or something because of sensitive components. You just blow it out. Use the compressed air side. But it's time for the moment of truth. Will this guy fit on my tool cart the same time as my tool bag? This is exactly what I've been waiting for, guys. Oh my gosh, guys, I am so excited. I believe so firmly in cleaning your equipment. And in order to do that, you have to take all your stuff with you in one fell swoop. This, oh my gosh. Guys, I go through laboratories, even in operating rooms, you don't have a very wide area to go through. So those giant service carts that a lot of biomeds use, that's got like 2 trays, an upper and lower tray, those things are horrible to migrate around stuff. I mean, unless you got 4 swivel casters, which not very many of them do, they're horrible to just get around. But this guy, I will tell you what, I can get this guy around anywhere. And here's one of the best things about this guy. I can still use it as a dolly. I take equipment all the time, slap it on the top of it, and just strap it down, and I go. You know, my hospital is huge, absolutely huge, guys. I average between, what is it, 4 and 5 miles. It's between 8,000 footsteps and 10,000 footsteps per day. But that's with a cart. You know, it's not me just walking back and forth. That's me with a cart with equipment and test equipment. So that's quite a bit. And this is just going to be such a game changer. Now, I had another video I showed you guys about the ratchet straps, and this is why I have the ratchet straps. You can strap it down. You see these metal bars right here, but you can also strap to the top of another component or right here on the edges. There's so many options, and that's the best part about being a biomed is you need options. All right. Man, I am so happy about that because in all actuality, I can still use it. Like while it's on the cart, so if I'm doing PMs, so one of the best parts is if I'm doing something that's in a sensitive environment, you guys have to understand that when you're around patients, nurses and family members can be absolute dicks to you, and probably for good reason, right? It's all about the patient's comfort level. And when you're working in laboratories or in sterile cores or something like that, you always want to have as little presence as possible, okay? I'm a ghost, or I'd like to try and be. So having things like a quieter vacuum. I got my brush right here. I can clean stuff out, and it's not killing everybody. But listen to this. That's such a huge plus, guys. I can put my brush back, slap that guy down. Oh, and look at this. I can change batteries on the go. I don't have to remove it from the stack. Check that out. Such a well thought out tool. I like everything having a place. Look at that. And that is going to go with me everywhere I go. And this cart already has probably, I'd say between 20 and 40 miles. Let's see, every day, at least a couple miles of pulling this cart around every single day. So you get it, you know, weeks on end, it adds up, right? I would love to break out the sound level meter, but guess what? Yeah, I don't have one. I don't have one. And the thing is, like, I think at the point that I start measuring sound on tools is what I realized that, you know, every single tool that I work around is just way too loud for my own health. That's probably why I don't do it. I do have a sound level meter at work though, and I am absolutely going to do that. There's other YouTube videos that kind of show the comparison between, you know, portable vacuums, and it just is what it is, man. It's such a perfect little addition. I love it. Expensive, but I really dig it. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. Did I ever have an electronics or engine? Let's go back. I'm gonna try and answer some of these as we go. Have I ever tried working for an OEM? No, no. My entire history has been working as an in-house biomed, and because of that, maybe my opinion's a little biased. But I can tell you one thing's for sure is that a lot of OEMs burn out technicians, and furthermore, a lot of OEMs will work on a certain particular type of device, and that's it. Your entire tenure with that company, you're going to be working on something particular, and that's not how I roll, man. I like the more the merrier. I would get bored if I worked on one or two types of devices, and that's how it is with a lot of OEMs. So sorry about that. Did I have an electronics or engineering background before deciding to become a biomed? Whew, let me tell you, this one requires a little bit of extra so I can answer it honestly. The answer is yes. All right. The answer is yes. I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere, Michigan, all right? And I can tell you for a fact, when I was 6 years old, actually, it's kind of scary now I think about it because my son is 6 years old, and that little dude that's in some of my videos, that's how old I was. I took apart the washing machine that was in the basement of my family's house. And if you know anything about rednecks, we like to keep stuff that isn't necessarily functioning in the house. I don't know why. They had two washing machines. One of them was broke. And in hindsight today, I think about it every once in a while and I think, yeah, I probably could have fixed that one. It was just a timer issue. But anyway, they weren't using it and they didn't use it for a year or two. And it was down there and my dad's tools were just conveniently right there. So I took it apart, and I really took it apart, guys. Old washing machines they'd come apart in panels, like large chunks. Well, my dad got home from work, and his washing machine was in probably 100 parts. And one of the parts was the motor, all right? And me not knowing what I was doing at the time, I had it all apart, and I had the motor there, and I had the wires. I clipped them at about 4 inches out of the motor. And today, if I were to remove that motor and I had to clip some wires, I'd leave them as long as possible. That way there you have, you know, a little room to splice if you need to. But the point of the being is he was exceedingly upset that I took apart his not working washing machine. And I did it completely on my own at 6 years old. But it was, what, 2 months later? I think it was about 2 months later. We had a yard sale because that's what us farm folk do. We live for yard sales. And there was a gentleman that showed up at my family's house and he said, hey, you guys ain't got any old motors or anything laying around? And I can remember for a fact, my dad said, yes, I do. And he went inside. Again, I don't know why he kept all those parts. He went inside, went down to the basement, and he pulled out the motor, and he brought it out with the little stubby wires sticking out of it, and he sold it to the gentleman for $2. Now, mind you, this is 1986. It was probably the greatest time in American history, right? And he sold it for $2, and he gave me one of those dollars. And he said, "This is because you did all the work." And then he looked at me, he leaned in a little bit, and he said, "Don't ever do that again." That was my first dollar from ever fixing something. I guess you can call it fixing it, right? But that is a true story, guys. I made my first dollar fixing something when I was 6 years old. I tore out the motor from an old washing machine, and that just was the beginning. All right, I tore everything apart, everything you could think of. I was that guy. My toys survived an average of just a couple months at best, but don't think that I was like one of those kids that had like a bunch of toys that were brand new. All right, I was definitely the kid that got the toys that were from like garage sales. I mean, garage sales were the thing back in the 80s, right? So I had a whole bunch of old toys, and some of them from like the 60s and 70s, whatever. I tore them all apart. That's how I learned about DC motors. That's how I learned about AC motors. I did so much stuff way, way, way before I became a biomed. Sorry, that's a long-winded answer, but let me tell you, it's the truth, man. I've had a long history tearing shit apart, and I dig it. I tear everything apart. If you can't tell, to this day, I'm still goofing around with stuff. I could show you, like, I got bins over here, I got bins down here, I got bins over there of stuff. Not to mention bins back under the tarps. I mean, I just got all sorts of stuff, and I love tearing stuff out. That's why I got all the fasteners, because I like building stuff. I build some real cool stuff with my kids, you know, whatever. You know, I was all dirty. I had to change my shirt right before this live stream because I was building stuff with my family, you know, but it is what it is. Oh man, let's see. I gotta go all the way back through all the questions. Have I ever dealt with stat spin that doesn't lock during operation? Oh my gosh. You know how many stat spins I have dealt with in just the last week? A lot. I have dealt with probably a dozen stat spins in this last week. Well, let's see. It doesn't lock during operation. So, Jay Degenhart, it doesn't lock during operation. That is interesting. It still spins up. It shouldn't even spin up because when the door latch comes down, it hits a micro switch, and the micro switch tells it that it's closed. So it shouldn't even spin up if the door doesn't latch. Be curious. Does it spin? Does it not? Oh, okay. Craig, let me tell you, it's funny that you said that. Live stream sponsored by Milwaukee. Unfortunately, I just go with what is best for the times. Let me show you guys something. This is my next project. I have lots of DeWalt tools. Lots and lots of DeWalt tools. I mean, you see I got DeWalt back there. I've got so many DeWalt tools. But the DeWalt kit does not function like this one, and that's where these guys win. Would I go with the Milwaukee vacuum if I had to? No. It's expensive, but I've got all the DeWalt batteries. I got a whole bunch of DeWalt batteries over there, but they just don't have a vacuum that locks into their system. And these little cleats right here, this is such an awesome system. I'm telling you guys, I've seen more and more people since I started the video on my Milwaukee conversion. I can tell you right now, I know 3 or 4 other biomeds that have converted over to this system, and they are very happy. The fact that you can have different kits for whatever type of device you're going to work on. If you're working on sterilizers, if you're working on surgical tables, if you're working, I have one, which I don't even have here on the stack. I've got one extra thick toolbox that's just for PMs. So I'll have extra power cords in there. I'll have PM stickers. I'll have my safety analyzer in there. So you have to imagine this stack will be up to here, you know. But when I get to my site, that's when I can do stuff like this. You know, I can take this guy off. I can take this guy off. I can pull my cart up next to a piece of equipment. And let's say I'm taking notes as the device is doing its thing. I have a chair. How many times have you guys gone to work on equipment and you don't have a place to sit? It happens very often. And the thing is the older you get, the harder it is to stay on your feet all day. I'm telling you, it's so having a versatile system like this, man, I can't even tell you. I've used this thing as a ladder so many times, it's not even funny. I've used this thing at least a dozen times as a ladder. You know, anytime you got something that's just out of reach, I mean, hell, depending on how high you want to go. I mean, that's all there is to it. Milwaukee has done a good job on this kit. Oh, let's see. What courses should you be able to take in order to repair medical devices? You know something? That's a very complex question because honestly, a lot of places will take you as a biomed without having official biomed school. That's a fact. So I would say you have to do independent study. Guys, independent study is the thing. You have to get off your butt and you have to learn on your own. If you even hear somebody talk about a certain type of device, you've never heard of it before, when you get back to your computer, I want you to research that device. I do this all the time, guys. All the time. If you want to be a better biomed, you have to devote the time into yourself more than anything. There's no school that's going to get it there for you. You have to do it on your own. But if you are in America and you're looking for a school, officially they have a 2-year and a 4-year program. I always suggest cbet.edu. There's a variety of other schools online that help you out and they'll get you there. But I'm just saying, cbet.edu is still my go-to because I think they have one of the best programs. Riley, let's see. I do mention earth ground and continuity quite a bit on my videos, and knowing your multimeter and knowing your settings is such a huge part of being a good biomed. Honestly, I have conversations with even perfusionists, you know, the people that handle the heart and lung machines, and those guys have been able to sit there because they have to take a lot of school to get where they are. They have to take like engineering classes and stuff. So when I'm talking to these guys, we use real technical dialogue and they understand it. Okay. So earth ground continuity, earth ground is ground. Okay. There's no other way to put it. On American 120 volt outlets, it's the round lug right here. It's ground. Ground is technically you. Okay? We are all technically at ground potential. All right? Unless, you know, you rub yourself or whatever and you have static electricity, then you're not at ground potential, which is why you have static, right? But ground is, you know, it's the copper pipe that goes down into the ground at your house or at your place of business. And it's just, let's call it 0. All right. It's 0 volts. That's what ground is. Continuity is something special. You can see right here, I've got this fancy dancy electrical cord, has no ground. Normally I wouldn't even have this in my house, but it's such a pretty cord that I use these type of cords when I build arcade machines because they don't need ground. But anyway, I just happened to see this one. Sorry about that. Continuity. All right. So let's say I plug this guy into the wall And this guy over here, I want to check it, all right? Well, you could put your plugs in here from your meter, and you could test to see if you have 120 volts. And you might not have that voltage. So how do you figure out where the break is? You unplug it, you attach your meter to one of the pins, right? And then you put your other pin in the other end, and then you move the cable around like this until you hear your meter beep. We'll go over that in another video. Continuity is easily one of the most important tests that every single technical person should be able to perform. Every single technical person. If you work on cars, if you work on airplanes, if you work on medical equipment, if you work on diesel trucks, I don't care what you work on. You got to learn continuity, okay? And we're gonna do a full video on that, because that is one of those technical things that has to go into detail, okay? I've got a bunch of different meters. We'll set them up on different meters, and I'll show you exactly why we do continuity checks, all right? I know I use a lot of vernacular in my videos, and if you ever don't understand something I'm saying, call me out on it, please, because this is the level, okay? I consider wherever I'm at in my career, this is like the bare minimum of where I ever expected to go, okay? So if you're trying to be the best at what you can do, always try and strive for that next level. So wherever I'm at right now, this is not how good I'm going to get. I hope in the future I'm going to be way better. I'm going to look back on 2020 and I'm going to be like, you know something, I didn't know nothing back then. So if I use a lot of vernacular, a lot of words that you don't understand, please call me out. I'd like to fill you in, because as a biomed or as a technical person, you should know these terms, okay? You should know them. And I'm here to help you. Let's see. I know I'm missing a lot of people's questions. Yes, Bjorn, there is at least a 5 decibel difference. In fact, I would say it's probably closer to 8 or 9 decibels, at least. I mean, that's quite a bit. Hey, Kyle, I see you're from Michigan. All right, man. Absolutely. I grew up in a small town called Fowlerville. All right. It's about 30 miles north of Detroit, and it's in between Lansing and Detroit. Just a tiny little town. Everybody knows everybody, and I was the little nerd back then. All right. I was the kid that nobody paid attention to. And, you know, here I am today. I was the person that a lot of people thought would get in trouble, maybe be in jail, because I have to say, they always say the idle hands are the devil's playground, and I am no exception to that. Like, if you can't tell, I like tinkering with stuff. I like messing around with stuff. And until I had a goal or something to concentrate my energy on, I would definitely get into some trouble. So I was the guy that they always thought would end up in jail, but didn't. All right, Kyle, tell me where you're from, man. Let's see, who else? Road noise. All right. I definitely can get that. Well, if you, Craig, let me tell you, if you hate road noise, you'd probably hate driving with Jeeps, right? Because I don't even pay attention to road noise anymore. Bjorn, your electrical toys live for a few hours. Man, there is nothing more exciting than getting a toy and wondering how it works on the inside. I mean, back in the 80s and especially the late 80s, early 90s, there's a bunch of different like little robots and a bunch of DC toys that took like 2 AA batteries, or 9-volt batteries used to be a thing back in the day. You know, I was always curious on how the hell these things work. So I would take them apart, and that's when you learn about your eccentric cams. You would learn about, you know, gear reduction drives and stuff like that. I learned all about this as a kid, man, from taking toys apart, because toy engineers are geniuses. Almost every stat spin you have in your lab works when it isn't latched. Holy shit. Jay, you need to check out your stat spins, man. Something ain't right. Something is not right. I would say that somebody has wired your micro switches for the lids on those stat spins. Instead of normally open, I think they have them wired as like normally closed. They have them reversed. You know, every micro switch, shoot, of course I don't have one. Of course I clean my bench the day that I want to do a live strain. Every micro switch has technically 3 positions. You have common, normally open, and normally closed. Normally, common is going to be like your voltage signal, and normally open means that obviously it's open, and then when you press the switch, it closes the switch. And then normally closed means it's like this, and when you depress the switch, it opens up. So most of the time, those lid detect switches are going to be normally open, which means they're going to be open, and then when you close the lid on the centrifuge, it sends a signal back to the processor that says, okay, we're good. I would check, because it sounds like somebody that is a true professional has reversed your leads on those micro switches in some way. It just doesn't sound right, man. It shouldn't even run with the lid open. So check that. It sounds like somebody's been goofing around in there. If I ever need some really high quality flush cutters, check out the CHP tools sold by Hako. TRR58-G, which can cut to 10 AWG. Wow, 10 gauge. Only $13. You know something? I am going to check those out. Let me show you what flush cutters I got. Hold on. So, for the most part, I have these Crescent brand flush cutters. You see these ones? Now, this is what I use for a majority of my cuts. But, let's see. Hey, dogs. Let's see. I got all sorts of tools here. It's probably buried. I do have a different set of flush cutters, a different version that I've never ever seen before that I have over there. And those were my go-to. These ones, the only reason these are in my tool bag is because these are super lightweight. And weight is everything to me. But on my workbench, I need a very high quality set of flush cutters. I'm going to check those out, man. Taiwas. You know something, Kyle? I used to go up to Taiwas. We used to go up there smelt dipping. Yep, we used to go up there and go after smelt. How would you say a biomed new to the industry can promote themselves as an independent technician, working for oneself, for clinics, etc.? You know something, Angela? That is such a tough question, because I understand that you are in a very unique market. I've got a buddy of mine who is from Puerto Rico, and he's kind of in the same predicament. It's a very unique market when you're on islands. How can you promote yourselves? Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe there is an answer for that. Angela, I would suggest when you go up to a piece of medical equipment and you learn about something new, go ahead and record yourself doing a video showing like the ins and outs of that device. Post it on YouTube. All right. And what I'm saying is I actually gave this advice to somebody, a very motivated gentleman who is working in the EVS department, which is the housekeeping area. And he wanted to know, how can I stand out from the crowd when I'm looking for a job? I told him, one of the best ways to stand out from the crowd is to create a YouTube channel showing that you're passionate about something, okay? And for him, I told him, I understand that you're in EVS, which means, you know, he mops floors and stuff. I say, why don't you just do Small videos. Think small, aim big, okay? So let's say you want to wax a floor. You do hundreds of floors. Show people the correct way of doing it. Show them the steps. You know, step 1, sweep the floor. Step 2, mop. Step 3, you know, you strip the old wax off. Do a short YouTube video showing the steps of how to do a correct floor mopping and a waxing, and have a beautiful looking floor when you're done. That's only one video. That's one idea. I told him, you need to develop a channel showing something that you're passionate about. If you like riding bikes, show about your bike, show about the trails that you ride on, show something. Because what people want to do is they want to personify you, okay? Compared to other people, they want to get to know you without having to talk to you, because people are very nervous about talking to people, right? So if I was you and you want to advertise yourself as a biomed, and even though you're new to the career field, why don't you just do a short montage or so of you working on stuff, the variety of equipment that you can work on, whatever, and you can use that video. If you ever talk to somebody or whatnot, all you gotta do is say, hey, check out this. I'm interested in you know, working at your clinic or whatnot. Let me know if I can help you out. Just do a little montage of you working on a variety of different equipment and sell it, okay? Sell it, Angela. Jay, you're a lab tech going to school for biomed. A lab tech, very cool. Pretty cool. I got started in operating rooms and laboratory and over the years. So it's fortuitous that I ended up in laboratories again, because I love laboratories, and at the same time, I love operating rooms. Operating rooms, I love the now type of mentality. You have to run, you have to solve the problem, you have to, give the perception that you know what you're doing, and you have to have some sort of answer. And I love being under stress. I absolutely love it. And laboratories are very low stress. We'll call it low stress. All right. Rodney says, do you think the biomed field will grow in the next few years? Oh my gosh, Rodney. Absolutely yes. The short answer is yes. I was going to answer this question for some people, because a lot of people are thinking that we're combining with IT, and that is absolutely true. We are combining with IT on so many fronts, and we should. Honestly, we should. We are becoming more technical and more network inclined as a career field, and every single day I see it. I mean, we do have some old timers that are not familiar with technology, yada, yada, yada. But guess what? Those days are going, okay? You have to know what you're talking about, and you have to have some sort of familiarity with computers, and almost every single modern day medical device is a computer in one way or another, and you have to know about it. So I would say we are going to get bigger as a career field, only because we are going to do more technical things. And there's a lot of people that are going to retire. As we are required to do more technical things, a lot of these old timers, they're going to start retiring. They're going to start getting out, because, it's not their thing. I've got one guy I work with. He's an awesome guy, but he prints out all his work orders, and he only wants to do paper work orders. For me to flip through a sheet of paper, it took so long. Let me tell you, just yesterday was Friday, I finally converted over my worksheet. If you guys don't know, I've been working on an Excel spreadsheet that's got macros, and it does a bunch of stuff when you inventory. Well, I popped in all of my work orders into that system, and I walked through with a little, hold on, it's right here. Aha! I walked through with a little battery-powered barcode scanner, and I was able to scan an entire room. And in that room, I found 25, 30 items that are due for PMs. And mind you, this room had probably 100 devices in it. Do you know how long it takes to go through 100 devices flipping through, you know, let's say 10 lists, 10 sheets of paper full of equipment that's due for PM. It's no wonder guys spend so much time looking for equipment. I take this laptop, I take that little USB Bluetooth barcode scanner. I carry my laptop. I'll go around, beep, 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 beep. And then I look at the sheet and I say, hey, I got 4 items right there that are due for PM. I take my laptop, I put it back inside its carrier, and then I pull out my test equipment for the devices that just showed up as positive needing PMs. I tell you what, man, I can do stuff so much faster. But there's still guys that walk around with a dozen sheets of paper and they'll check this item. Nope. What about this item here? Nope. Put this item here. It just takes forever, guys. As biomeds, we have to do stuff faster and better. For sure. Oh my gosh. Riley, let's see if I can answer your question. Justin, I know I asked you a similar question. Just confused. You have a plethora of tools such as a CNC machine. I was under the impression you can't get by with a bag of tools. You can. I can. Absolutely. If you're working for a smaller hospital or a smaller account, by all means, a small bag will get you where you got to go. I have easily a 90-some percentile first look completion, which means I walk up to a device and I either have the part, the tool, or whatever I need to solve the problem. I walked, man, I wish I could show you guys a map of where this hospital was. Out in the rain, man. This biomed, he told me, hey, will you go over to the physical therapy building and help me out? There was a wall scale, which is a giant scale. This is one of those things I wish I would have video recorded for you guys. There's a giant scale for measuring patients' weight when they're on a mobility scooter. You know, those big scooters that have like the hand switch that allow you to, you know, migrate around. Well, this giant scale snapped off its air assist pneumatic springs, which are these cylinders on the side. And anyway, it snapped off, so he needed some help drilling it out. And I have a lot of metalworking experience, so they asked me to go and help them out. Well, I walked probably a quarter of a mile away, at least, with this tool cart, with a plastic bag draped over the thing because it was raining out. It was really raining. And I was absolutely drenched by the time I got to this account. And the thing is, I had half my kit unpacked, from the variety of drill bits, from the different tools it takes to extract the metal that's in there. I had to clean the threads once I was in there. I had to get out old ball studs, just a whole bunch of stuff. And I was able to do it with one sitting. I even had grease. Guys, I even have molybdenum disulfide grease right here. I have grease in my tool bag. Who does that? Because grease is one of the most useful things for biomeds. You know, pneumatic cylinders, surfaces that get a lot of wear and tear. You can take a really thin layer of grease and it solves a lot of problems. I have either cutting oil or light grade oil. I have that. I have different types of Loctite. I even have Teflon tape in my bag at all times. Do you need it? Maybe not. But I'll tell you what, I solve most of the problems the first 10 to 15 minutes that I show up. I solve the problem and I go on and I do something else because I've got a lot of stuff to do and I'm very, very busy. But for the users, time is everything. And this is obviously the kit that I developed when I was working in operating rooms, because every single minute in the operating room is attributed to a dollar value. It's, I think every single minute in an operating room is worth like $1,200, something like that. It's extremely expensive. So if they're down, if there's a pause case or whatever because of a failed piece of equipment, if it's during a case when the patient's on the table and they're intubated, which means there's a tube going down their throat and the machine's breathing for them, every single second counts. And I like to be prepared. That's why I have all the tools. It's not necessary. You don't need all this stuff, guys. You don't need none of this stuff. But this is part of perfecting my craft and being the absolute best at what I do. All right. Come on, Bob.
Look what I did.
What's this?
I did my
Of course I'm going to get a surprise help.
Look what I did.
What did you do?
Knock it with crayons on it so it melts with 2 cups of water.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. We're going to put this right here, okay?
You're recording a video?
No, we're not recording. You're live and you're saying hi to all these people, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in here. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Be gone.
All right. Let's see. Bjorn, I think you're absolutely right. They bypass the micro switches. I think you're correct. Oh, let's see. How can I get to some of these other questions? Google Sheets is a good for PM list because it can be viewed and edited by everyone in the shop at the same time. You are absolutely right. I am such a huge proponent of Google Sheets. And the problem is my hospital blocks out Google. Such a stupid thing. My Google Drive is completely blocked out at this hospital as a security precaution, which is really weird because Google actually scans for viruses and stuff on the files that are uploaded and downloaded. It's absolutely ridiculous. But I have a lot of my templates for my PMs actually saved as a Google document, and I can't access them, which is unfortunate. Only at this hospital, though. Right? See what I'm doing? I've got these people that are asking me questions over here, and I'm trying to answer them without failing over here.
Right. When the people are asking you questions, when the people are asking for you.
I'm pretty sure they're asking for me in general. I mean,
yeah. Is that when all the people are asking you all the little
Yes, that's exactly right.
Right.
Let's see. Matthew says, to get PMs done, you start early in the morning or late afternoon. A lot of equipment can't access during the day due to be used on patient. Matthew, I've been doing this for 18 years now, almost 18 years. Or is it 19? Is it 19 years?
No.
I don't know. You're only 6, not like you know. I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I can tell you one thing's absolutely for sure is I still haven't figured it out. One thing I will not do, though, I'll tell you absolutely one thing I will not do. I will not work on equipment before the day starts. So let's say you start doing a PM on something and something fails, or you start changing some settings to help it with the calibration, and now all of a sudden it gives you an error code every time you start it up. Almost every single Biomed has gone down that road. So I will work on stuff on the weekends or at night, but working on stuff an hour before it's expected to be used on a patient is very rare. It's extremely rare because I don't want to be the one that calls for that patient to get a case delayed or canceled. And that happens. And I've tried to explain that to people because a lot of devices, either the users expect them to be in a certain place. Like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but the users often have places where they expect the equipment to be in case of emergency or whatever else. So let's say a plasma coagulator. I did a video on plasma coagulators. They're normally parked in very particular places in the sterile core or outside of operating rooms. And the thing is if I take that unit and I spend the next 30 or 40 minutes PMing that device, that's 30 or 40 minutes where it's not there for all these people that are doing heart cases or whatever else. Because if they have a bleeder, they need that device and they need it now, right now. So I don't mess with devices or with operating rooms. I don't like messing with stuff in the morning. In the morning is when I go through and I'll do my rounds. I will walk through the halls, I'll walk through the cores, and I will look and I'll try and see if I see.
Hey!
I will try and see if I see things messed up, okay? I like to fix problems before the users ever know that it's a problem. That's my number one point as a biomed. I try and fix things before they even knew it was an issue. That's messed up power cords, that's casters that are falling off, that's shelves that don't look right, that's items stacked too high, that's foot controls that are lost. It's like, hey, what's this foot control to? Well, I know what that foot control goes to. I'll pick it up and I'll, you know, take it closer to the area where it's due, and I'll place it down or I'll place it on the equipment. Those are my rounds. I try and solve problems before the people ever find out that it's an issue. And my whole thing has kind of changed lately. Well, since I'm doing laboratories now, man, I wish I could tell you guys the stuff that's going on with my labs. You want to tell them? What,
Yeah.
do you want, what do you want to tell
I
them?
like to tell you something. I just made my cool art.
You just
What
made
do
your
you
art?
think? It looks like pretty cool.
It's beautiful, bud. It's absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
Very beautiful.
So, how much stuff did you ruin to get that?
I use markers.
Oh, okay. So I don't have paint all over my table or anything? Oh, well, that's a first. That's good. That's good. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my gosh, you guys. The reason I don't get upset when my family invades my moment like this is because these guys are the future, man. These guys come out here. They work on stuff with me all the time, guys. Because I don't know. This one here, I don't know if he's ever going to be technical. He's into like music and all sorts of other stuff. But my daughter, she's only 3. She comes out and she actually will sit there and work on motors with me. And she's very analytical. It's funny how kids are, man. But it's absolutely amazing the things I've learned about kids from this little experiment. I always wanted my kids to maybe, you know, grow up and kind of follow in my footsteps or whatever. And boy, was I ever wrong about like about kids. Hey, what you doing?
I'm just like swimming. Cool.
Are you cleaning Daddy's ball screws? Yeah. All right. Hey, you missed a spot on the linear rails. Go clean it.
Oh.
A little chop, huh? Man, you guys, I got some cool stuff that I wish I could show you. This weekend I've been working on. Holy cow! This is a well, it's a chuck like on a lathe, but it's hooked up to a servo motor. You see this? This is a closed loop stepper. Man, I should do another video on stepper motors and stuff so that you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, this is exactly like a CNC motor, and it allows me to make things in 3 dimensions. So let's say I want to make like a 3-dimensional dragon. I can take a piece of wood, like this guy here, and it will spin it and cut it in 3 dimensions and make something out of it. So that is what I've been working on this weekend. And, you know, I built, I cut a bunch of birdhouses on the CNC machine this morning, which is why I was all dirty, because my kids wanted to build birdhouses this weekend. So I designed a quick one on my computer, and I cut them out, and then we made 2 versions of it, and we assembled them. All right. Hey, can I put this down? This is like 30 pounds.
Look. You like it? Yeah. How did you make that? With markers and knocking with scissors.
Oh, come on.
It's very cool.
All right.
Addie, what do you think
Okay.
my art?
Hey. You want to say hi?
Uh,
There you go.
My
You
little
gonna be
sister
shy?
likes to say
Yeah.
Hey, Addie, you like holding my art?
That's wonderful, guys. I'm sorry if this is a little distracting, you guys. But this is definitely family life. I work so much throughout the week. When it gets to the weekend, these guys invade my life all the time.
You like it?
Yeah, you gonna go show Mama? Did you show Mama yet?
All right, Addie.
Yeah.
Tell Mama send me the
Sorry,
cool art.
this one's 3 years old. This one's 6.
Right?
And they're both crazy.
You want to make your own, Addie?
Okay, ready?
Hey, Addie.
Okay.
Give me that.
Okay, go show Mama. Right?
See you guys.
All right, see ya, bud. I deeply apologize, guys, for them so rudely interrupting me. Paul, tell you what, if you want to chat with me, I monitor several email accounts, but the one that you can always get me at is betterbiomed@gmail.com. I will answer that one all the time. And I try and categorize my emails according to the nature of, what I'm going to be talking about. So I know the ones that come through on that are relevant to this. There's nothing personal that comes in on that. And so, I know my demeanor and my responses, stuff like that. Oh, let's see. Okay. Riley, why are you working on water purification systems? Isn't that something a plumber or HVAC technician would do? Yes. No. No, absolutely not. A lot of stuff in hospitals is contracted out. There are many smaller hospitals, and even better so, there are hospitals around the world. See, here's the best part. I don't make content just for here in the United States. I make content for around the world. And there are people all over the place that watch these videos, and I'm extremely flattered that happens. But there are people all around the world that watch these videos, and they might be working on this stuff themselves. If you work at a smaller facility and you have your water system contracted out, good for you. But as a biomed, I always think that you should know every piece of your craft, whether or not you work on it. Like, I don't know how linear particle accelerators work completely, but I studied up on them. Okay. So I don't work on them, but I studied up on them. So I don't work on water systems, but I studied up on them. And I did in the past work on like reverse osmosis systems. And, these DI systems, like the one I showed in the video, those are kind of a newer thing. And people even have those in their houses. So I just want people to know a piece of their craft. Like if you walk into a laboratory and you see something leaking, or they say, hey, we don't have good water pressure, you should be able to walk into the system and identify, the components and the flow of how things go. So you don't have to be a master on something. Just understand and interpret what you're seeing, right? That's why I did the video on the water system, all right? So I don't traditionally work on water systems, no. But do I think that people should know? Yeah, I do. I think I think biomed should know as much as possible. For making gears. Biomeds work on all that. Absolutely. We sure do. We work on everything, man. Purified water. I'll tell you what, I've worked on water treatment systems for sterilizers. I've worked on laboratory water dispensers, like under the counter reverse osmosis systems. There are so many aspects to just water. I should do a whole nother video on water systems because it's just another piece of your craft. It is actually important. Okay. Let's see. What else can I do? Do I have a 3D printer? No, I don't. It's funny that I don't. I don't have a laser cutter and I don't have a 3D printer, which is funny. I've looked into them and whatnot. I just haven't done it yet. I don't know why. I think because that's an additive process and just the subtractive process. If you guys don't know, an additive process is when you start out and you build something from nothing. And a subtractive process is when you take a something and you cut it down to something else, okay? So an additive process would be something like either 3D printing or injection molding or something like that. A subtractive process is when you take a block of metal or wood and you cut it to something practical. Okay, so I have been trying to perfect the subtractive process, different materials. I don't know let's see if I can pull something out here. Ooh, guys, I have a whole bunch of these guys. This is carbon composite. Some of you guys might recognize it. That is a panel to a surgical table. And the thing is, I've got a whole bunch of these. You can see it's an old one too. So I have hundreds of pounds of these panels right here because back in the day, they used to have the surgical table and then they had this panel and it would elevate about 3 to 4 inches above the surgical table. And what would happen is if you had to take an x-ray of a patient, you would slide the film underneath, you would take the x-ray, and then you'd pull the film out and go process it, right? Well, now we have things like C-arms and digital x-ray, and we don't have to do films or like film trays or anything. So these things are kind of obsolete. And all old tables and stuff, they just get rid of them. They threw all these in the trash. I have hundreds of pounds of this. And you'd be like, what can you do with that? Well, first off, you guys should know carbon is extremely strong, relatively lightweight, but it also conducts electricity. Not very well, but it does. So what do you do with a material like that? Come on. Come on. There we go. I do stuff like this. This is the same exact material turned into a clamp for CNC. Now you can see this edge here is slightly beveled. And this edge here has got a tiny little lip so that you can hold the material down. And this one here, you flip it so that it keeps something from riding up. That's why it's got that little edge to it. So I make clamps. I make all sorts of stuff with this material because it's so strong. I make clocks. It's all made out of surgical table. There we go. I do lots of stuff with these panels. I try and be resourceful with all sorts of stuff that people throw away. Do I use my CNC for parts for the hospital? Absolutely not. Hospitals generally have money, okay? And I understand it's kind of a complex thing. Hospitals have money. I understand that I try and do some things that skirt around that on this channel, but that's because people watch these videos from around the world. Normally, for liability reasons, we either buy OEM or the exact component replacement. So let's say I have a little encoder that I want to change out on a circuit board. I'm going to buy the exact same encoder and solder it into that board. It's not going to be a different model encoder. So that's what I'm saying is if it's repairable, I'm going to use the exact same component. If not, I'm going to buy the whole entire assembly from the OEM. And that's just for liability reasons. It is what it is. Other countries are going to be way different, but my work ethic and my video ethic are two different things, because my video ethic is supporting people around the world. My work ethic is supporting people here in Houston at my hospital. And it's not just my it's not just liability for myself. It's for my hospital. It's for the doctors that are treating those patients. There's a lot more entities involved than just me. So I do the right thing, and we're going to buy OEM parts usually. Riley says, how are water purification systems related to medical equipment? You don't realize this, but pharmacy, laboratories, your operating rooms, there's a whole bunch of areas that use high quality water. Dialysis departments, you have your blood bank areas. There are so many areas that use laboratory quality water or ultra pure water, and you're going to have it everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So water systems are part of medical equipment. It's just the way it is. Often it's contracted out, or it's, you know, the facility's responsibility. But either way, I just feel like we should know what's going on there, because if you guys are experienced biomeds, you probably walked into a situation where the facility guys don't know what's going on, and it's up to you to solve the problem. You know, the water pressure is low, maybe the system needs a filter change or whatever. Who knows? There's lots of different scenarios. Let's see. I was working on a Philips with a new battery installed. It won't pass self-test. Invoker US, please go into some detail. I'd love to find out what you're talking about when it won't pass the self-test. Huh. With a new battery installed, it won't pass the self-test. Well, there might be a lesson learned there, guys. You should never assume that because you installed a new part, that part is automatically going to be good. We have anybody that has ever repaired something has been burned by that. You naturally assume because you got the part brand new from the manufacturer that it should be completely error-free. I've had batteries that are bad straight from the manufacturer. I've had valves that are stuck closed. I've had circuit boards that don't power up. I've had all sorts of parts from the manufacturer that are bad right from the box. Brand new, out of the box, broke. So anybody that's ever repaired stuff, that's the way it is. Now, what you can do is you can measure the voltage on the battery. Or maybe the charging circuit for the battery is bad. I would love to find out some details on that, Invoker US. Let me know. How many Biomed shops are at your hospital, Matthew asks? That's a good question. I have a huge hospital, and we have 30 or so Biomeds, but you can't take that number for my type of facility and say, oh my God, 30 people, because that's not true. We've done the math, and there's about 10 biomeds that are actually working on equipment in my huge facility. 10. And then you have your imaging guys outside of that, but they like to lump everybody in the same pile. And then some of those technicians work on satellite clinics and stuff, which are offsite, so they're not even in the building, but they count them towards our labor pool, which is so stupid. So they make it sound like we got 30 people running around. It's like, no, y'all got like half a dozen people running around to these outside hospitals. It just doesn't work that way. But we do have Biomed shops or tiny little rooms that people work out of in various buildings and whatnot. In hospitals, they have a central system for distributing compressed air to each room and a battery of oxygen bottles or tank. What's the deal with the central vac system? Woo! Man, Bjorn, that is an excellent question. I should do a whole video on compressed medical gas systems and central vac systems. To include that with NFPA 103, I think is the regulation for compressed gas. Oh, that's going to be a good video. So, what's the deal? Well, I take it over there in Belgium that you guys don't have central vacuum systems. That's interesting. So yes, we have a central vac system. There's two vacuum lines in a hospital. One of them is VAC, VAC. It should be a white outlet, and the other one is WAG, or waste air gas, and it's purple. So your vacuum and waste, they basically Y off, and they're the same line technically. And in American hospitals, that's just the standard. It's just the way it is. So what happens is the waste gas have several water traps in different areas in the plumbing. And what'll happen is they'll collect, like in a dental clinic, they'll have a solid receptacle where things like amalgam will separate. You'll have blood clots, you'll have tooth particles, and there'll be a receptacle where you have to dump that out. Hospitals also have those type of traps here and there because people suck up blood or whatever. Yeah, we have in American hospitals, we have central vacuum. And an internship, would you rather military or VA hospital? Oh my gosh, if your goal is to get into a VA hospital, I would highly suggest Guard or Reserve or active duty military. There's just, as a military person, there's so many advantages if you are a veteran or prior veteran over a general civilian, that general civilians don't really have much of a chance at getting the job because there's so many military biomeds out there or veteran biomeds. So I would say if that's your goal, is to work for the VA someday, go ahead and do Guard Reserve if you don't want to really commit, or active duty. Let's see, we have RO in your hematology machine. The machine will start throwing errors if the RO is messing up. Ooh, yes, absolutely. So your RO system. Your RO system will often have high pressure or low pressure, which means high pressure on one side, low pressure on the output side, because your membrane gets clogged up. There's RO. I got to do a whole video on that. RO is reverse osmosis, which means the water comes through and it goes through a permeable, semi-permeable membrane, which means the water can go through it, water molecules, but large particles like heavy metals and calcium and stuff, they cannot go through the membrane, so it'll be ultra pure water. Oh my gosh. Did you do one too?
Yeah, I helped Addie, but the colors didn't work.
Are both you guys not wearing shoes?
Oh my god.
Come here. Come here. Oh, come here, big girl. Please, winner. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
It is gorgeous. I love it. Which one's mine?
This is the boys and this is the girls.
There's a boys rainbow and a girls rainbow?
Yeah.
You get out of here.
What?
You go.
I hate getting out of here.
You're fired. You're fired. Come on.
I
Anyway.
like
You're so fired. So keep saying remove and reinstall battery after the self-test. Maybe new battery is bad too. Remove and reinstall battery after the self-test. That's interesting. I would try another battery to start with.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of stuff that goes along with those batteries. I take it it's probably a lithium-ion battery. And lithium-ion batteries, they have... Hold on, just 1 second. What? What's the matter? Come here. What's the matter? You don't want Daddy? Why not? Because what?
Because they're angry.
You think I'm angry? Oh, Daddy's not angry. Daddy's not angry. I'm not angry. Nobody's angry. And my daughter is extremely sensitive.
My daughter is
extremely sensitive. Daddy's not angry. I like your rainbow.
anyway.
I love your rainbow.
Anyway, what do you think he's
You didn't give me my rainbow though. Which one's mine? What? Which one's mine?
Look at my color finger.
I don't get to keep one? No.
You want a little more?
I'll trust Seth with it. Hey, Daddy's not angry. Not angry. Okay. I'm actually happy.
Do you think,
Aren't you
guys?
happy?
What do you think,
No.
guys? My art looks pretty
Oh, see,
cool
look.
because
You're in Daddy's video with him. See, right here.
you know my little sister is crying because he wants to be with mom.
I know. Here. You want to read? No. Okay.
The words.
Here,
say-
Seth. Here, Seth. Can you show Addie to the inside of the house, please?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
You okay, Addie? You want to stay here with Daddy, or you want to go in with Mama? You want to go? Okay. You gonna follow Seth? Okay. Addie, hey. I love you. Yeah. Nobody's angry, sweetie.
just go.
Addie, it was a joke. It was a joke. You want to stay here and make videos with Daddy? No? Okay. Seth, can you show Addie how to get in the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So just don't turn off the video.
It's okay. Don't worry. All right, guys. Oh, my gosh. My daughter is so sensitive. Quick connection in the room for vacuum, air, and oxygen. Yes, we have vacuum, we have air, we have oxygen, we have central nitrous oxide. If you're going to be in any sort of operating room. No, Seth, go with Addie. Go with Addie. Go with Addie. Seth, go with Addie. Okay, she's very sensitive right now. You need to show her some emotional support. Okay.
Then I'm gonna miss this video.
No, you're not. It's going to still be here. Okay, go make sure Addie's okay. All right. She's your responsibility. Do it. Oh, these guys. Oh my gosh. You were in the military for 11 years. College has an internship in the last semester. I got to decide where to do it at. What city are you in, Jay? I could probably help you find an internship if I know what city you're in. Vacuum pulls only vacuum, no fluids. Between the vacuum system and the patient is a plastic container. Yes, that is actually correct, Bjorn. So we have a vacuum system, which I someplace here I've got a canister, and you always have a fluid trap outside of the wall, but hidden inside the wall is a secret fluid trap because users are stupid. Okay, users will always suck up blood and spit and whatever else, and it will go into the wall. So we have to have a separate fluid trap in the wall, and people secretly know where that's at. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Food with mom.
That's excellent. Thank you. Good for you. The air pulled away is a biohazard. Oh, thank you for that. So how is air threaded after the vacuum? You know, that entire vacuum system, anything that ever deals with vacuum, always consider it contaminated every single time. It's a negative pressure. So whatever it is, it's going to be contaminated. You're absolutely correct. Never ever consider a vacuum system or a vacuum tube to be safe, even if it's got that HEPA filter on it or that air separation filter. Always consider vacuum systems contaminated. They just are. They're disgusting. But Jay, your school's in Waco. You live near Fort Hood. Man, I do know some people that do medical equipment up around Dallas. I know some awesome guys that do medical equipment up around Dallas. You want to do an internship? You want to learn from some cool guys? I might be able to hook you up with some really cool guys that help you out. So just let you know. How often do I use my oscilloscope for work? I don't know. Hey, Seth, what's an oscilloscope?
I know.
I know you don't know. I don't use it that often, but it's not one of those tools that I don't use. All right. What are you doing? I don't trust you. All right, thank you. Oscilloscope is one of those tools that when you have it, it's nice to have, but if you don't have it when you need it, it's an emergency. And the reason being is there's a lot of stuff. It gives you a visual representation of what you're supposed to be seeing, okay? Hey. Gotta be nice, okay, or else you gotta go back inside. No? What happened?
It's like water.
You're purple.
Purple fingers.
So I do use the oscilloscope on occasion, but it can be used as a multimeter too. Sometimes I'll be in the field and I'll train somebody and I'll pull it out to train them because I know what I'm seeing with my regular multimeter, but to show somebody like when something switched. Hey, the last time I used my oscilloscope, I was showing somebody a voltage drop when was it a motor or a solenoid? When something was turned on, I wanted them to see the voltage drop. And the only way to do that is with an oscilloscope. I mean, you can see it numerically on a multimeter, but people are visual creatures. We love seeing like a pretty picture of the waveform. And that's the last time I used it, was doing a demonstration for somebody else.
Oh!
Hey, here, take this, go inside, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye. I love you.
I love you.
All right, now get. Okay. Get. You're fired. Oh my gosh, you guys. So is there any other questions I might be able to answer for you guys? I mean, what are you doing? You're fired. You're fired. Come on. Get. You're fired. You're done. Okay. Anyway, I think I've pretty much caught up on all the questions. If there's anything else I can answer for you guys, please let me know. I've got so much stuff that I wanted to cover, and I'm pretty sure I derailed my train multiple times because of whatever. My new toolkit's going to be so awesome, guys. CBET.edu certificate. I'll tell you what, Riley, if you get a 2-year certificate from CBET, you're good to go. You will be able to get a Biomed job as a Biomed 1 almost anywhere. Guaranteed. I think they got a very solid program, and they are trying to set the standard for what a Biomed education should be like, civilian side. And I think they've done a really good job with that. So hopefully we'll see in 2021 if things settle down a little bit. I would really like to get back into studying again, because there's some stuff that CBET goes over that is a pretty good refresher for me, and I'd love to get my CBET degree. And CBET's got a 4-year degree that's coming out. That would be even better yet. I'd love to go for my 4-year degree. Guys, I'll tell you one thing, and I'm going to be absolutely honest with you guys because I don't even care. As a Biomed, I am almost capped out in salary, all right? Almost anywhere I go, I'm currently making almost as much as any Biomed ever will. And so the thing is, I did that all with military education and a high school diploma. Okay, that's the absolute truth. I have no college degrees, all right, and I have college credits, of course, but I have no college degrees to speak of. And the difference is I work my ass off, and there's no easy way around it. You can get a job by having your college degree, or you can get a job by having lots of experience and working your ass off. There's two different routes to get a job. And to be capped out in pay like I am, that's years worth of just working your butt off. And here we are. So it's entirely possible. It's not the shortest route. It's not the easiest route. It took me years to do it. I mean, like I said, I'm currently 18 years in, and I would say I'm making really good money now. But it took me years to do that. So it's no easy route. Entry level biomeds expect to make 45 to 55,000 a year. Biomed 2s 55 to 60, and Biomed 3s generally are going to be anywhere from 60K up until 100K. I mean, it's anywhere in between. Honest, depends on where you live and where you work. But when you specialize in stuff, that's when you can start making better money. So if you specialize in laboratory analyzers, if you specialize, especially right now, in ventilators, if you're a ventilator technician, more power to you. Those guys are pick your price right now. You want to make 120K a year? I know places where ventilator technicians can easily make 120K per year right now. So it's a very interesting market. But your salary cap as a biomed is only limited by you. Okay? There's no easy way to put it. Every single time I have left one hospital and I moved to the next, I have made between $3,000 and $5,000 pay increase every single time. And I probably moved between hospitals more than I should have. I got out of the military. I worked for one hospital for 3.5 years. And then I worked for another hospital for 5 months, to which then I found out about another job opportunity where I was running the operating rooms at a medical university. And I worked for that hospital for 3.5 years, to which then my family wanted to move someplace more Latin-centric. So we left South Carolina and I came here, and I worked for a hospital out here for 11 months, I think, almost a year. And then I ended up moving to this hospital, and I've currently worked at this hospital for almost a year. So it's been almost a year. So I've moved between hospitals. I've moved between positions, and it's been an amazing experience, guys. If you stay for one hospital and you stay at one hospital the whole time, you're never going to cap out at your salary, and your breadth of experience is going to be much shallower. But biomeds, we move around. That's who we are. That's our day and age right now. But if there's anything else I can do for you guys, let me know. I'll give you guys a few minutes. Maybe I can answer some more questions. And then I'm going to let you guys continue on with your Saturday. I don't want to keep you guys up all late just rambling on, because believe it or not, in person, like I guess I'm kind of quiet as a person. I don't really talk this much. But because it's me and a computer and a stupid camera, I guess I just keep on rambling on and on and on. So I apologize for that, guys. I really do. But let me know if you guys have any other questions, because I'd love to answer them for you. I've got lots of participation from guys all around the world here. This is amazing. Robert says, I've been in biomed for 2.5 years now, and honestly, being out of the field, traveling has given me so much experience. I kind of enjoy, but the travel does get old. You know something? I imagine right about now, this day and age, travel is horrible. Because, I mean, it's easier to fly. There's less people flying, but it would be miserable. I mean, hell, half the states, I think, have like travel bans, don't they? traveling biomeds, if you're a single young dude, man, I don't know if I told you guys, but as a single young dude, I love the party. I would love to travel. But this day and age, I don't know, guys. That would be a tough question. And honestly, I face that right now because I've had job opportunities where they want me to travel around the country, and this is a really difficult time to do that. I mean, with young kids, I don't want my wife to be a single mother, and at the same time, you know, I love getting out, meeting new people, seeing new things. It's such a toss-up for me personally. But I completely agree, Robert. The travel does get old after a period of time. And the thing is when you travel around like that, you're always the new guy. Every single place you go into, you're the new guy. Nobody trusts you. Nobody trusts your work ethic. Everybody's questioning you as a technician and as a person. Whereas if you're stationary and you work in one environment, you have familiar customers, you get to know them, you have some sort of rapport with them. I get it, man. Definitely as an in-house, it has its huge advantages. Paul says 37-year Biomed CVET director, great career. We need more smart, dedicated people. Paul, that is so awesome, man. Thank you. I have had such excellent mentors throughout my career. That's one of the reasons why I do this, for sure. I've had people like Mr. Paul here who have helped coach me throughout my career and throughout my life. I've been able to work alongside them, and a lot of these guys are retiring. They're getting out of the career field, and that experience is just gone. It's just gone. And the fact that they invested time into me as a person and as a technician, and now, you know, I'm trying to share it with you guys because these guys, it's kind of like letting their legacy live on. I mean, some of these guys just want to chill out. They just want to retire. And there's a lot of stuff that I've learned from them that I'm trying to share with you guys. I mean, most of the stuff is not me. All right. This is people that have taught me and curated my knowledge over the years. So, Paul, that's awesome, man. 37 years. That is definitely some old school cool right there. It's twice as long as I've been gone. Dane, what's up, man? Very awesome, Dane. You still owe me money, man, from way back in the day. Robert L. I'm currently 25, and it does make things difficult because I never know when I get home some days. Oh, my gosh, Robert, you are so right, man. Guys, working as a biomed is not the easiest job in the world. And I can tell you for a matter of fact that if it wasn't for my home support, if you have like a wife or girlfriend or whatever that is very untrusty, this is going to be just miserable for you. Because I have had phone calls in the middle of the night, even when I'm not on call, and they say, we've got an emergency, you need to come down here. I've had nurses call me up in the middle of the night with, you know, their girly voice. My wife hears it while she's sleeping. She's like, what? Who is that? I say, hey, they call me up. They need me in at the hospital. And she's like, okay. And I dress up and I'm gone. You know, 15 minutes later, I'm on the road. I'm gone. And no questions asked. Absolutely no questions asked. And that is so tough. And as a military person, I mean, hell, a lot of you military people, you the same thing. Like, you guys are working in the middle of the night. Hell, I was a biomed during the war. We pulled like crazy, like 24-hour shifts. Now, as a civilian, I have pulled 30+ hour shifts 5-10 times throughout my career. You know, you rip out all the wiring in an operating room or something, you put in fiber optics or whatever it is. I've had servers that have crashed and you sit there and rebuild them all night long. I have pulled 30+ hour shifts. That means you go into work in the morning, you work the whole day, you stay all night, and then you work another shift the next day. No breaks, constant working, constant just getting shit done. when you love what you do, you don't even notice the time passing. You're just getting it done. I pulled 30+ hour shifts between 5 and 10 times throughout my career. And who would believe that? Honestly, sometimes my bosses didn't even believe that. You know, I come in for a Friday, I clock in the morning, I go, and at 2 o'clock they say, okay, we're done with operating room number 8. You can go ahead and start ripping out the video system. So I go ahead at 2 o'clock p.m. I start ripping out the video system. I stay all night. I run, you know, wiring throughout the ceiling and whatnot, throughout the booms, and I install it. I test it. I program the touch panel. I do all that type of stuff. And 30 some hours later, it is done, ready to go. They're sterilizing the room and ready to run patients. And I've done that several times throughout my career. Who would believe that that even happens? Who would believe it? I'm lucky I have the home support that I do, because it already sucks as a biomed when you have to go in the middle of the night, but to have like somebody that's always questioning if you're faithful to them, or, you know, if you're really at work or whatever, that'd be really tough. All right. Robert, I highly suggest you get back into a hospital, and if anything, that'll teach you how to love your job again. I don't know if you love your job at the moment, but when you get those relationships with people, like your frequent interactions with users, it makes a difference, man. It really does. The way you leverage the value of equipment maintenance and DIY solutions to common problems instead of just replacing a device is what the world needs. Thanks, Dane. I appreciate that, man. So one of the things I've always advocated between me and my team members, I've had multiple teams over the years. One of the things I absolutely advocate for people is, if you have the time, I think I even wrote it in my rules. Let's see, which one is it? It was so important. I put it as rule number 4. It was already broke. Time permitting, every repair should be treated as a time to experiment and explore the malfunction to improve your skills. I wrote it as the top 4, is number 4, because, guys, if you don't understand why it failed, then you'll never know how to stop it from happening in the future. So one of the things I've always advocated, especially this time of year, I told you guys in the last live stream, is that I advocate for people to either get familiar with componentry and soldering, or tearing shit apart. Just tear that shit apart, because it's going to make you better as a technician, guaranteed. Not necessarily to, you know, fix the problem, but understand the malfunction. That is everything. I don't care if you solve the problem. I want you to understand why it failed, okay? That's the most important thing, because if you understand why it failed on this device, then we have 20 more in our inventory. Maybe you can keep those 20 from breaking. You know, that one we can throw in the trash. I don't even care. I want to keep these 20 running. That's the most important part of this. Let's see. Let's see. Robert says, it is true. It was bizarre for my ex-girlfriend, who could never understand why I would ever get dressed and head out for the field due to an emergency at a facility. Oh my gosh, Robert. I have some horror stories about that. But I completely understand, man. I understand. This is not one of those type of jobs where, like, it's a 9 to 5. I work the middle of the night. I'll tell you what. Tomorrow night, I'm leaving in the middle of the night to go into my work. I'm probably going to go in at like 2 a.m. I think 2 a.m. And I'm going to decorate for Christmas at my work. Christmas is my holiday, guys. And I have a bin full of Christmas ornaments. I've got all sorts of stuff. I'm going to decorate the hell out of that place tomorrow. And I do this every single year. I go in secretly in the middle of the night. That nobody ever knows when it's going to happen. And I just decorate the hell out of it. And I hang ornaments and garland and all sorts of garbage from the ceiling. And I just spruce it up, because just getting everybody's reaction first thing in the morning on the first day back is everything to me, man. Riley says, do you see some biomeds leaving the field for IT? Well, I'm hoping for, and I can foresee that there's going to be a cross between IT and biomed in the future. All right. It's going to happen. It's already happening. So, do you guys ever have bulldogs? They make weird noises at weird times. Are you done? Okay. Bulldogs are just weird creatures. They just make weird noises. Anyway, stupid dog. Dane, I'm so playing, man. Trust me, I'm doing all right. It's cool that I can hold that above you, though. Anyway, biomeds and IT. Somebody asked me this question throughout the week, and I wanted to answer it in entirety over this live stream. Biomeds are going to somewhat interface with IT, and I'm hoping for a middle position. It would be like medical device networking, all right? So that means somebody has a new device they want to integrate with the hospital network. I give the information to the biomed that's responsible, and he will contact IT. He will fill out the forms. He will get the IP address and whatever else he has, and then he will show up on site and he will help you program that device to talk to the network. That is a medical device networking professional, and it's going to happen. Some hospitals already have it. And if you're into IT, but you know medical equipment, I encourage you to go that way, because those jobs are going to open up everywhere. It hasn't quite happened yet. Some bigger cities, hospitals have those positions, but it's going to happen. There's going to be a cross between IT and biomed. And half our devices interface as it is to this day. But currently, the big pain in the butt is that I don't network devices every day. I know what I'm doing when it comes to that, but the forms, the people I got to talk to at IT, the different timelines, don't fill it out on Friday after 1 p.m., etc. Whatever requirements your hospital has, I don't stay up on that, okay? So I'm constantly chasing my tail trying to get stuff done when it revolves around IT. But if that was my job, is every day I deal with networking medical equipment, I would have my spreadsheet of the devices, my AE titles, my IP addresses. I would have my to-do list. I would have my contact list in my email for all the people of IT that do every job, whether it's activating a port or it's programming the Wi-Fi system, getting my IP address to PACS administrator. Man, I'll tell you what, if that was my job every single day, I would have my stuff nailed down and I'd be 4 times more effective. But because I don't interface with IT that often, I don't get that much stuff done when I need to. It's such a pain in the butt. Robert says, he loves his job. He used to work in a hospital setting as a transporter. When he was 18, he made friends with the biomed manager. Well, that's definitely a good way in. Now he's in biomed. Well, good on you, man. That's why I encourage everybody to get into it. Do you wear scrubs as a biomed? Depends on the hospital. Depends on the job. I prefer wearing scrubs. If anything, like I said earlier in the video, I wear scrubs over my clothes. And the reason I would do that is because you never know what you're going to get on you or when you're going to have an emergency. I would have an emergency. I'd have to run into an operating room like right now. Well, if I'm already wearing the scrubs, that's half the problem, right? So all I got to do is get my tools, put my hat on. I already got my mask on because it's COVID, and I'm good. Go. But if I don't have scrubs on, now I got to go find a pair of scrubs. I got to put them on in the Scrub-X or whatever. Such a pain in the butt. Guys, if I'm working in that environment, plus the other plus, is if you have scrubs on and you spill something on you. This happened to me just the other day. Somebody couldn't believe it. I told them I wear scrubs because if I spill something on me, like you open a cover or something spills down your leg or whatnot, I can pull my pants off on the spot. And I did just the other day. I had some weird liquid that came out and spurted down on my leg, and I took my pants off instantly on the spot, my scrub pants, and I had my real pants underneath, because you don't ever know what the hell that stuff is. It could have been just water. I highly doubt it. It's probably some other goo juice, but to be safe, you pull it off instantly. Let's say I'm laying on the ground and I'm all dirty. That happens all the time. I can take my scrubs off. I still have a clean, presentable set of clothes underneath, and I can go get more scrubs, right? I might be dirty as hell with my scrubs on, but it's like instant change of clothes. So yeah, I prefer to wear scrubs. I really do. Look at those. I posted on Reddit about this. Doesn't make sense for some equipment on a tabletop, sterilizer, fridge, O2 concentrator, etc. to be connected to the network. Oh man, let me tell you. Woo. That is an interesting thing. Not everything should be connected to the network. No, there's a lot of stuff that does. And that list is only getting longer by the day. By the day. Let me tell you something. Refrigerators, freezers, whatnot, networked. They're networked not by the freezer itself, but often there's an auxiliary temperature monitor that talks to the network. Whether or not it's Wi-Fi, hardwired, or whatever, even knowing how that works is such a huge plus. That's just one example, man. The list of medical equipment that's networked in one way or the other, huge, absolutely huge. Oh my gosh, let's see. You guys are cracking me up here. If their nose has been bred to be short, it's actually short in their life. Look at a bulldog look like 80. I completely agree, Kyle. I completely agree. I am absolutely fortunate, although she's a little grumpy. You can tell my dogs are older, both of them. My bulldog, the only thing I have ever done for her, I've only took her into the vet once on an emergency. And she had one illness. It's because she bit a bee once. And she came to the door and she looked like a Shar-Pei, you know, her face all swollen up. She had more wrinkles than she normally does. Yeah, she's comfortable. I ain't going to bother her. I've never had any health issues with that dog. You know, there's so many different varieties of bulldogs that often you'll have hip dysplasia, you'll have eye socket problems, a bunch of problems with dogs. I got lucky with this one. I really did. Robert says, my current girlfriend at her hospital, my current girlfriend, you dog, told me IT and Biomed work hand in hand every day. You're absolutely right. Right down the hallway from me, there's a children's hospital, and Texas Children's Hospital. They took a bunch of their Biomed physicians and they moved them over to IT. They did that for a cost issue, but also because they acknowledged the fact that IT and Biomed are starting to work hand in hand. It's happening. It's happening everywhere. It's going to happen in your hospital too. I guarantee it. Dana, I actually appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Absolutely. And people like you, I like keeping in my contact list because, as you know, I'm an audio and video person too. And I like having that wider network because I refer to people when I have questions that are outside my scope. So I like keeping people like you in my network. Absolutely. The wider the breadth of experience, the better, man. It's been a long time going back, isn't it? Robert says, I miss wearing scrubs. My uniform consists of polo and heavy work pants. I miss the feeling of lightweight scrubs. Like I said, I mean, I wear scrubs often, not all the time now. My normal scrubs have the shirt pocket. I miss having the shirt pocket, you know? But my work shirt is a polo, and it's got like the name of my hospital embroidered in it. And if it wasn't such a sensitive issue, I'd have no problem telling you guys what hospital I work at. I mean, some of you might have figured it out, but it's just one of those things, man. If people are calling up my HR department and trying to get me fired, I'm going to try and like eliminate my hospital, you know, from ever being mentioned on these streams or whatever. But yeah, it is what it is. Weird liquids in Biomed. Oh my gosh, Paul, there are weird liquids everywhere. I was just 2 days ago, Friday, I was working on a physical therapy system. Very cool system. It looks like a stretcher, but it inclines and it's got a leg press so the patient can work their legs from a semi-seated position. And the cool thing about this was that it had a problem with the pneumatic cylinder that raises the patient's angle. And I put on some surgical gloves when I went to work on that pneumatic cylinder. And the physical therapy guys were kind of looking at me like, what the hell are you doing, man? And I told them, guys, if you've been working in this career for long enough, you know that when you start looking under things, you interact with fluids and substances that are less than desirable. So here I am gloving up just to take a look at a cylinder that's underneath. But as soon as you start lifting up stuff, you find things. So I glove up all the time, guys. And the physical therapists were all completely amazed that this dude's coming in with a stack like this of tools, gloving up to take a look at this semi-stretcher device. But I take it very seriously, guys, very seriously. There's a lot of equipment that's going to be Internet of Things. I don't believe Internet of Things is going to be a hospital type of system because that's generally referring to Internet of Things. It's more simple type devices. Hospital, because of HIPAA and whatnot, nothing's simple like Internet Things. In case you guys don't know, IoT is like your coffee pot that talks to your Wi-Fi network and interfaces and whatnot. Hospital, oh my gosh. Depending on your hospital network, you either have to have the MAC address given it a license to operate on your network, or you have to have like a static IP or whatever that's assigned to that particular device. It's hospital equipment is not, I never really considered it to be Internet of Things, but you're right. Many problems with equipment is mechanical, electrical, or configuration. Many problems with equipment is the user. Most problems are the user, by the way. The equipment in many places is old and bare minimum to complete the job. I don't disagree. I work on old stuff all the time. But that stuff doesn't necessarily have to interface. And the stuff that does have to interface, they have developed ways of doing it. Like a lot of medical devices going back even 20 years have RS-232, which is serial port, and they export data out the serial port. The device doesn't care what reads it, okay? So your medical device will have all this serial data coming out of it. And then what they're doing now is hospitals are buying up these devices called nodes. And a node is a device that takes the data coming in, interprets it, and kicks it out and interfaces with the digital medical record, also called the DMR. So you have the device, could be 20 years old. It has, you know, just a serial port, which is an RS-232 port. I don't have any that, it's probably over there. So you have a device that connects to that port. It's called the serial port server, and it reads the data, interprets it, sends it out digitally, okay? And as biomeds, we have to configure. We have to configure those devices quite often. Yeah, you guys gonna come back in? Are you guys gonna be quiet?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on in, guys. Okay, but you gotta be quiet, okay? Okay, you wanna come up?
Yeah. I'm gonna leave it right here.
Because now you know that Daddy's not mad, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, good. Daddy's gonna take your sticks.
Right.
Because you're gonna make noise. All right.
I hate noise.
And if you guys didn't know, they're back. Right? You gonna say hi?
Hey there.
Right here. See? It's up here.
Hi.
There you go.
Hey there.
There you go.
I'm gonna put the stick back.
Yeah. No. Let's see. What else can I say for you guys?
And I got requested.
Okay. Let's see. Microbiology incubator water. Isn't fun. Oh my gosh. You're absolutely right. You know, the other thing is, given I've been working in biology labs lately, some of these freezers, ultra low freezers, an ultra low freezer is negative 80 degrees C. Okay. And I have these freezers all over the place. But the problem is when you open the door, the inrush of air instantly freezes. So if the room has high humidity, you have like snow on the inside of the freezer. And you never know what's in that snow. All right. You never know. You open the freezer, it smells a little funky, but then you get the snow on you. You think it's innocent? No way. You never know what's in these freezers. Incubators, yes. Slide stainers, yes. Microtomes, all sorts of gooey stuff, man. So I don't take any chances. I have gloves. That's why. Oh, of course not. That's why I made this suggestion to you guys about these magnetic glove holders that I'm going to try and figure out a way to mount to my toolkit, because I use so many gloves throughout the course of my day. I do not compromise on safety. Absolutely not. Especially gloves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, let's go all the way back up. Angela says, I'm looking into many areas within Biomed, even specializing in telemetry. Ooh, telemetry. You know something? There's a couple different types of telemetry, and I would love to make a video about the different types, because based on the manufacturer, you'll get different types of telemetry. So you have like GE and their older system, which is all RF, which is radio frequency. And they have some that send and receive data, and then they have some that only send data. So you have some that are a transponder, which means it sends and receives, and some of them are a transmitter, which they only send. And everything is connected with coax cable. And coax cable is that stuff that you use to connect to your cable TV in your house. Those are the old systems. Some of the new systems use Cat6 cable and whatnot, but I would love to get into telemetry, you guys. I've worked with it several times in the past. I've got a decent amount of experience with it. I should document it properly and give you guys a proper video on it. What do you think? Yeah. Guys, I mean, honestly, I've done so much stuff over my 18 years that I would love to share more with you guys. It takes videos like this where I get all these ideas of my next videos. Robert says, it was kind of funny. I remember the first ever video I watched was the one where you're fixing the OR table and you said about the hydraulic fluid will shoot up if you don't cover the lines. You're absolutely right. And that day, a few hours before I got home, hydraulic fluid shot all over my face and chest and was rough. And it was funny you said to cover up the lines with rags. Needless to say, I learned my lesson, took your words to heart. And, well, thank you, Robert. Robert, I can tell you one thing. Hydraulic fluid seems innocent, but it's under incredible amounts of pressure, okay? And take it seriously that those fluids, if you ever are around a hydraulic leak and you get it, hydraulic fluid will, what's the correct word? If it permeates your skin, hydraulic fluid will create necrosis, which is it will create infection and it'll kill tissue inside your body, okay? And the thing is, it seems so innocent. People that will put their hands over hydraulic blocks or hydraulic lines, and then they'll hit the pump. Now, most hydraulic systems in medical are kind of low pressure, but I'm telling you, the reason I use a rag when I cover hydraulic leaks and stuff is because when hydraulic pressure is so intense that it can permeate skin, and if it gets inside your skin, it can rot your fingers off. Now, look up YouTube. It seems like such a innocent, low viscosity oil. Hydraulic oil is toxic to human tissue. Do not get it inside cuts or anything. That's why I always glove up and cover those lines. It's for multiple reasons. I'm telling you, it's some crazy stuff, but it seems innocent. But hydraulic fluid and the necrosis that is that occurs from that is some serious stuff, man. But thank you, Robert. I'm glad that people take some of my words into account. I'm just not always preaching to the camera, I guess. I appreciate that, man. That's how the coronavirus spread in Wuhan. They use that snow from the freezers to throw each other. Jeez. You know, who knows, man? That whole COVID thing is so crazy. It hasn't really affected us the way that you would think, because every single day that I go to work, it's just busy. And it's not necessarily because of COVID. I mean, we're just busy because we're busy. COVID has had very little effect on me and my career, other than maybe making me a little more serious about my own personal hygiene, like hand washing and stuff. I mean, I was already serious about it as it was. I mean, that's why I don't wear a wedding band or anything, is because I wash my hands so frequently. I have gloves everywhere. I have eye and ear protection and stuff right in my kit because I take this stuff seriously. Paul, I'll give you a call, man. I'll give you a call probably tomorrow, and I'll talk to you, okay? You have a good weekend too, sir.
I want to say.
Matthew Coricia, I wish I was there to work with my other biomeds more often, but I'm so busy with my own work, it's hard to make time. Matt, I completely understand, man. I have people all the time, and I wish I could show you guys my email. People that want me to help them with their equipment, either independent medical equipment providers, used medical equipment. There's so many people that ask me for help all the time on their medical equipment, and I wish I didn't have like a family or a full-time job, because I love meeting people and I love seeing cool new stuff. And there's so many people that try and get me to help them out with their stuff. I completely understand. Robert says, honestly, I look forward to all your videos. Since I found your channel, it has helped me expand my knowledge. Well, thanks, man. Thanks. COVID definitely made the job more difficult. And it's like good too. Well, see, COVID has made our job more difficult by vendors coming in, and it's made the coming and going from facilities very difficult. All right. But it's a good learning experience for us, because us who are biomeds currently, we are going to take this knowledge of this situation for the rest of our lives, for the rest of this career, and we're going to help make other guys that are just coming into this career field better because of COVID. All right. I see this as a positive. Anyway, guys, I'll tell you what, everyone, I am going to, hydraulic fluids can definitely be hot. You are absolutely right. And it's hard to tell the temperature until you get it on your skin. That's absolutely right.
Hey, Daddy, I have
Robert, it's okay. I respect vendors, and I appreciate my vendors. I still question their labor every time, because I'm ultimately responsible for my equipment. But at the same time, I rely on vendors very greatly. So I appreciate what you do, man. Hey, apparently my kids are going to keep interrupting the stream. Everyone, I'm going to take this opportunity. It has been, holy cow, 2 hours and 19 minutes. You guys are so crazy. You listen to me for 2 hours and 19 minutes. I'm going to let you all go. You guys get out there, try and enjoy your weekend. I know I'm going to take these guys in and try and get them to bed. Thank you all for participating in this stream. I appreciate the support. You guys have been awesome. I've got some homework to do, because you guys have brought some really good points to my attention, some videos that I'm going to be making in the near future. And I'm going to see if I can do a better job for you guys, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, thank you for watching. You're going to say goodbye?
Goodbye.
Locados, I'm going to answer you back on your thing. Stay tuned, man. I'm going to see what I can do for you, answering your whole IT questionnaire that you had. I think I still do a little bit better on it. But you guys, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you very much once again. And hopefully I can do this again soon, man. I love these videos. I love talking to you guys. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go put these guys to bed. Y'all have a good night.
Bye.